Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Latorre. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Blogger Genius. Before I start today's episode, I want to welcome you to my Facebook group. Please head to Facebook and join my group. It's called the Latorre Mastermind Group, and I am having such a great time hanging out in there, getting to know everybody getting to know each other. It's a continuation of the podcast. It's a way to go deeper. It's a way for me to get to know you and follow you, for you to get to know me, and for everybody to get to know each other. It's a really sweet group of entrepreneurs. So please pause the episode, head to Facebook, search for the Latorre Mastermind Group, and I'll be excited to see you there today. Okay, for today's episode, I am interviewing Kayla Butler. Kayla has a site called Ivory Mix. Many of you will probably know it. Kayla gives away free, beautiful stock photos that work terrifically on social media. I'd read about her. I'd seen her in a Facebook group, somebody mentioning her, and I had to go check her out, and I loved what she did. And I reached out to her and said, please come on the show. What's cool about this episode is we talk about Kayla's journey and how she started creating these beautiful photos and started giving them away to grow her email list, and then figured out how to grow a business on top of that. But what we go deeper in this episode. We talk about what it is really like to be an entrepreneur, what that mindset is all about, how we have found success, and also where we struggle as entrepreneurs. I think you're going to really, really like this episode. So, without further delay, here is my interview with Kayla Butler. Kayla, welcome to the show. I'm super happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
So I was saying that I discovered you being in a Facebook group. Somebody mentioned your work and your stock photos that you make and that you offer for free. We're going to talk about that. And I thought that your stuff was so beautiful. And then I saw you offer courses, and I thought you might have a different perspective on all the visual content that we are creating today, because you seem, I see your picture right now that I'm looking at, you've got your camera. And so I think you have this interesting photographic perspective, I guess is the best way to say it. So welcome to the show. And would you share how you got to be where you are with your business?
Gosh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So I really started my business as a hobby. It wasn't meant to be a business at all. And I'm aesthetically driven. Everything around me is organized, and really the main objective is to make it clean and simple, but aesthetically pleasing. That's just me by nature. And I used to be an interior designer for about 16 years, and I grew my career to be very successful, and I had a corner office, and I was losing creativity because of that. I was overseeing teams instead of being hands-on in the projects we were working on. I was more managing. And so I started this side hobby of crafting and DIY, and really got my hands into photography. And in the pursuit of creating an aesthetically pleasing website, I decided to create my own set of photos, branded photos. And it was a practice for me. It was just a practice shoot. And I ended up shooting 50 or so photos for myself, but I ended up not wanting to use them because they just weren't right for the brand that I was trying to build. And so I ended up giving them away as freebies, because I knew collecting, readers and having an email list was going to be important for some reason for me going forward. And I thought, well, a lot of people I'm interacting with on a day-to-day basis while I figure out this hobby of mine is, are other entrepreneurs, other bloggers, other people who are into branding. And so, yeah, I really started that way through a hobby and developing a style around my my photography and how to use them on websites and on social media. And that's really how I got started, was giving away my photos for free.
Okay, and so you could, for the audience, I
Mm-hmm.
recommend they pause this episode and go check them out, because it's ivorymix.com, and you give away beautiful stock photos that you can easily add text to in Canva or something like that. But they so speak to kind of creative female publishers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's really been a development over time. I mean, naturally, I created photos that way because I am a female entrepreneur and designer. But it was really through the practice of using the photos myself to promote my own business that I started to understand, oh, well, it would be better to create photos that have a lot of white space or a lot of negative space, or are easily cropped, into a square for Instagram, or into something vertical for Pinterest, or for an ebook, or, there's so many uses, but I understand the use of it through my own marketing of my own business. So it's been quite a journey. And I think that's what makes the photos really work.
Yeah. So let's talk about then how you started thinking up and building products to sell, and actually like rounding out your business. So you knew at the beginning you needed an email list, but you weren't sure why.
Right. I knew that it would be important for, at the time, really getting people to read my blogs. And it turned into a real community because I started a Facebook group because it was easier for me to communicate with people on a whim, so to speak, maybe poll people through my Facebook group. And so I grew my email list, and it really took off. I started to get hundreds a week, and then thousands a month. Wow. Eventually.
Wow.
Yeah, it really took off because of the viral nature of something so valuable and free as the stock photos that we offer. But when it came to rounding out like the offering itself and the different products that I've created, it was a journey of listening to our audience. And I say our because now it's not just me, but at the time it was when I first started. And so my very first
wait, so who is it now? It's not just you, it's you and
it's me. I have an assistant, a virtual assistant, who happens to be my mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. And now I have another photographer on our team, Crystal. She's located in Arizona, and she shoots stock photos for us as well. And my husband does some tech stuff for us. And so we're growing. We're a team of 4 at this point. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, because I work with my husband as well. And by the way, every one of my podcast interviews goes to my mom, and she listens and gives me feedback like, oh, you should cut this, or this isn't clear, or, she is like so I love working with my mom.
Yeah, it's so nice because it's a thoughtful approach to criticism. Because I think it's a nice thing to have my mom there.
Yeah, totally.
So it's nice that you do too. But so in the beginning for me, when I started creating products, it was just hit or miss. And so my very first online course was a phone photography course. And I thought that was great because it complemented the people I was serving. They wanted an easy way to either shoot photos or get photos. And so I thought, well, give them the stock photos of high quality, high resolution photos, but then give them a course that teaches them how to do things on the fly. And my first launch did not go very well. I think I made like $50, but I've since turned that through trial and error and learning various different marketing methods and automations and things along those lines. I've turned that one course, my very first online course, into something that generates thousands of dollars every year.
And how? What did you do?
Well, specifically, I turned it into a one-time offer. So if this particular course is, it's very thorough and it's so easy to learn how to use your phone to create great images. Not only that, but edit your images on your phone and get them right onto your Instagram or Pinterest. So it's a very easy course, but it's also very easy to sell, and it doesn't cost very much in terms of purchasing the course. So I turned it into a one-time offer. So when someone signs up for our free stock photos, you'll probably notice that you'll be redirected to a page at that point afterwards, a thank you page that says free stock photos are in your email, but hey, for the next 15 minutes, you've got a chance to purchase this phone photography course. And there's a couple of other added benefits, but it's through that one-time offer now that we generate thousands of dollars in sales every month, honestly.
Wow.
Every
Okay.
month. Yeah.
So how much do you sell it for?
The one-time offer?
One-time offer.
It's $7.
Wow. Okay. So I love this. I was just at a conference. I've mentioned this, the Ad Thrive conference here in Austin.
Okay.
And I was talking to two bloggers who do this strategy, and it's called a Tripwire.
Yes.
And what
right.
they do is, as soon as someone signs up for their list, they create this offer that expires. And I thought that was, and they are monetizing it, you know, and it's something relatively inexpensive. One woman was selling her medicinal herb course or book, ebook for like $5. And then she was able to take that money and buy Facebook ads to get people to sign up for her list. So she wasn't making a ton of money on the course, but it enabled her to grow her list for free.
Absolutely. And that is, I remember the day that I learned about this, and we were about to go on vacation, our family was, and I was like, you know what, it would be awesome if I just set this up before we go on vacation and then see what it does when I come back. And I made my first sale within 15 minutes of setting it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my, it really was the catalyst to light a fire under me to create other products, because it was a lesson in, if you set things up the right way, or if you, because I was already getting the audience, my audience was already warm to the ideas. And so it was just putting the offers there and asking at the right moment.
Absolutely. And what I love is you created this course and it didn't work, or you thought it didn't work.
Exactly.
And you must have been demoralized.
I was at the time, but what I've learned since is I actually didn't. It wasn't a failure, and I sold it at the time. Maybe I had only made $50, but guess what? I sold it. I actually sold it. So that what I didn't recognize at the time was maybe I could have done it differently. Maybe at the time I thought it would always be available, but it was a lesson that when you add a little bit of scarcity, or add some bonus, or do something that really motivates people. Because honestly, if someone really wants to improve their photography skills or purchase something to improve an area of their lives, it might be easy for some people to say, okay, here's my credit card, I'm going to purchase this for myself. Might be easy for some people, but for other people, they might need a little more motivation. It might be, just getting them to have those internal dialogues to be like, okay, do I need this right now or not?
Absolutely.
I have an hour, I have 3 days to make this decision. Do I need it or not? And sometimes that's all that it takes.
Well, absolutely. We are programmed, we are wired with loss aversion, which is that idea, oh my God, it's going to go away. And we are very we're more motivated for loss aversion than like gain. Loss hurts us more than gain does. So therefore, if you can kind of tap into people's loss aversion of, oh no, I'm going to miss out and never be able to get this again, you've tapped into some kind of human quality. Not that they don't want this, but that it motivates them in that moment to go, you know what, I do want this. I'm going to take out my credit card. It's $7.
Right. Yes.
So I think that's so brilliant. Okay. So then from this, what else have you created?
Well, I ended up creating a few different courses one on Pinterest marketing, another course on Instagram marketing, and then another course that was another that I thought was another failure at the time. It was called Self-Made Together, and it was supposed to be kind of like a coaching that brings everything together, like a well-rounded soup to nuts kind of business plan for those starting out. And it really walked people through, coming up with a business idea, finding their niche, starting their branding through the marketing of it, and then scaling. So getting affiliates. And because at that point, when I had launched this course, Self-Made Together, I had built my business. I had taken it full time, and I had learned all these lessons that I thought would be great to put in a course. And I thought it was a failure because I had only sold 30 seats. And I always have these grand notions that I'm going to sell 1,000,
Right.
But anyways, so I turned those courses into more profitable courses that help a lot more people over time. So I've found that first launch of online courses or even memberships or other products, it's better to assume that first launch is more of a beta for you and for your audience, because you're learning what marketing works well and what your audience resonates with that first go around. So for me, I like to treat the first launch, if anything, really as the beta version.
Yes, I think that's really smart. I think you're right, because we think we know.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Right.
Until you test it.
Exactly. If you sell one, if you're able to sell one of anything, it's not a failure, because if you can sell one, you can sell 10. And if you can sell 10, you can sell 100. And if you can sell 100, you can sell 10,000. It's just a matter of tweaking and adding your strategies and addressing each point of the customer's journey, So each point on that customer journey, you can make improvements, and then that will, at the end of the day, be better for you and your bottom line. So
absolutely. Now,
yeah.
So tell me then, in terms of, because I'm on your email list, you also have a membership site.
Yes.
So explain that, like, how does that fit in with your courses?
So I really started out with the membership of our stock photos. It began as a free stock photo membership. And then once I started creating more and more photos every month, it turned into a service that was more valuable to people than the free stock photos. So I created the membership, and I started out with something monthly and found that if I offered an annual version, that I could really, by my members investing in that membership, I could really bring a lot of value. So that annual investment in a membership has turned out to be one of the best things for us to better serve our members, because then, we get to know them, their businesses, their niche, their colors, versus someone who's maybe a month-to-month member who is a member for a couple of months and then, takes a break. So in terms of how that works in my business and with the courses, I ended up getting overwhelmed with the number of products that I was offering, and it became more of a desirable thing for me to see how I could bundle everything together. Okay. If our members would enjoy the courses and would enjoy the trainings along with their stock photos. And so I've ended up bundling everything under our annual membership. And so when someone signs up for our annual we call it our VIP stock photo membership, they also get access to some of our trainings as well, in Pinterest and Instagram. So it's been about, I would say, since 2016, early 2016, since I've had this membership, and it's just continued to grow. And I've really enjoyed teaching marketing and growing your business, along with providing the resources like the stock photos and the assets. So really the vision is to kind of create this membership that offers all of that under one umbrella.
And so are you doing live trainings, monthly get-togethers, Zoom calls, something like that? Or is it you get access to stock photos once a month, new ones that aren't available for free, and you get access to your Pinterest course or your Instagram course, that kind of thing? Is there like any more kind of hands-on interaction?
So they get their monthly stock photos, and they get access. If they sign up for the annual membership, they get immediate access to existing courses, like pre-recorded self-paced trainings. Then once a month, we do one specific training on a topic that we poll our members on. So ahead of time, maybe a month or two ahead of time, we're polling everyone to see what the hot topic is, what might, we throw out some ideas like last month and the month before. So 2 months ago, we did something on how to automate your sales funnel. So we did a Zoom training live with interaction that month on how to set it up, how to write it, how to identify how long a sales funnel should be or how short it should be. And then just last month, we did an Instagram training live. And so it's just a better resource for those who want to get those live questions or really like dedicate, okay, this is the hour I'm going to learn this, so we are doing those once a month too.
Imagine growing your Instagram followers with no work. Highly engaged followers. Now imagine it with Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. How about new email subscribers? Seriously, no work. This is all possible if you install the MiloTree pop-up on your blog. David, my husband, and I started our blog, Catch My Party, in 2009. We've since grown it into the largest party ideas site on the web with millions of page views per month. We did it with hard work and our secret weapon, our MiloTree pop-up, which David built for us. We've grown our Pinterest followers to over 1.3 million and our Instagram followers to over 164,000. And right now, 8,000 other bloggers just like you are using MiloTree to grow their businesses. With MiloTree, you can focus on growing one platform or switch between several. But here is the important thing. If you aren't converting your visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you're honestly wasting your own traffic. Make this asset, your visitors, work for you. Since we're bloggers, we get bloggers. So we've optimized MiloTree like crazy. It's a snap to install. It won't slow your site down. It's Google friendly on mobile, and it's so darn cute. You can even add animated sparkles to your pop-up if you like. Sign up now and get your first 30 days for free. Please pause this episode and head to milotree.com to sign up. I know you will thank me. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'm going to send you weekly actionable business tips to help you grow your business. I've been at this a long time and I have a lot to share. Remember, your scarcest resource is not money, it's time. So let MiloTree free up time for you so you can focus on the other important parts of your business. So what are you waiting for? Hit pause, head to MiloTree, and sign up today. So for your business, given that you are teaching Pinterest and Instagram and stuff like that, what are you finding success with?
So with Instagram, for instance, what I'm finding success with is by not focusing on my product and my offering as much as I am focusing on the transformations that my audience wants in their lives and their business. So when it comes to marketing on Instagram, I'm focusing a lot on who I'm talking to and trying to resonate with the transformation that they want and what inspires them. So I'm not always posting. If you go to my Instagram account, you're not going to see that I'm posting samples of our stock photos all the time. And that's because what I'm finding is a lot of a lot of our audience that comes to Instagram and follows us are coming through other channels. They're not necessarily finding us through Instagram. They're finding us through Google search or through Pinterest and ending up on our Instagram. So I'm finding that if I'm creating content for them, I don't need to show them samples of my stock photos because they get to see that all other places. And maybe in my stories, I talk about it, but really the content that I'm creating is about helping them with specific areas that they're trying to grow or trying to change within their lives. So I might post an inspirational quote of some kind and then some tips and tricks, or I might post a list of things to try on Instagram to grow their engagement. But really it's that focusing more on the transformations that our audience wants to make. And that seems to get more saves, more shares, more engagement, more comments than anything. And the more that we get meaningful social interaction on Instagram, the more our Instagram does organically grow and the more we do reach people on hashtag search. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. So what hashtags, for example, would you say work for you guys?
For us, it's more of the daily motivation hashtags. So one might be I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Let's see, like on Monday, if you go to like the past Monday's Instagram, the hashtag was, I think, Happy Monday. I mean, it really wasn't that specific, but the rest of the hashtags that we're using are like success quotes or mindset Monday. We use different things like Being Boss or Gold Digger, which are other podcasts that our potential audience or existing audience follows. So we just focus our hashtags around the topic of the day, whatever the topic of the day is, and then we look for hashtags that are very popular and then hashtags that are like, I would say, medium popularity.
Right.
So like anything over 1 million in terms of how often that hashtag has been used, that's very popular. And then anything under like 500,000 is, a medium popularity. And then anything under 100,000 in terms of use on Instagram is probably not used very often. So there's definitely a hashtag strategy that we look at, but we try to match the content with the hashtag as best as possible.
Right. Now, one thing you said that I think is so interesting, and we try to think about this a lot, which is it's not always about the tactics as much as the journey and the transformation, and that you want to inspire your customers, your visitors, to feel those feelings of possibility. That, if I buy your product, I'm not just going to have stock photos, but I'm going to feel a certain way. I'm going to feel empowered to make beautiful images so that I can present my business or myself or my company in a light in which makes me feel good and will hopefully inspire somebody else to feel good.
Absolutely. Yeah. What I find is that a lot of our audience is right on the cusp of making big changes. So they've got a website and they're getting ready to launch their business, but there's something holding them back. And they know they need to invest in the tools and the resources, whether it's stock photos, online courses, or whether it's the actual tools like email automation or something along those lines. They're right there. They're right about to do it, but something keeps holding them back. And so those are the things that we focus on, is trying to help people feel empowered to make those decisions and to not get so caught up in the feelings, and really understand that making decisions is the way that you are going to make goals happen or achieve your mission, whatever that is. So making decisions is the way that they're going to get to the next step. And so every piece of content, or just about every piece of content we put out, like on Instagram, for instance, is about empowerment and feeling like you are ready to make a decision, or that, maybe today's a good rest day, but that's so that next week you feel like you're ready and prepared to make decisions. And people really resonate with that.
Right. And what I always say is make the decision, because you can always change it. Mm-hmm. But each decision is learning, and you want to be learning always. And you're right. A real testament to this in terms of how you built courses and then figured out, oh, okay, I'm going to go this way. Okay, now I'm going to go this way. Now I'm going to tweak it this way. And the only way you get there is by making micro decisions.
Yep.
I always say that, you avoid like a midlife crisis by making micro adjustments, by going, well, this doesn't feel right. Let me try this. And if you see how that feels, try this on. See, does this, almost like a sweater, does this fit? Does it feel good? And you can, it's much easier if you are in the habit of making decisions to continue making them and to continue to course correct, because no one decision, because who knows? Like, you don't know. And so You've got to just you have a hunch, and you hope that hunch is right, and it might not be.
Right. A lot of times too is we start thinking too far ahead. Like the decision that we want to make, we're afraid that it's not the right one. And the thing is that it's okay to be critical or criticizing of yourself, because that part of you is trying to protect you from failure and protect you from feeling a certain way, or protect you from loss or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to criticize yourself and feel like, maybe this isn't the right decision or whatever. But the truth is that making a decision is the only way to get to the next step.
Absolutely. And I try in my own life to police the narratives I tell myself, the stories that I tell myself, that I fill my brain with, because the truth is I don't know. But I can tell a story about it, that it's going to be a huge success or it's going to be a huge failure. And so what I try to do is tell myself, Jill, that's a narrative. That's a narrative. Yeah. And step back and be in the here and now. What do I know? Right. And the other thing is that I've read this now. We are horrible prognosticators. Mm-hmm. So we think we know about the future, and you're absolutely right. We do this to protect ourselves. But I mean, think about it. Like if you keep a journal, like write down what you think is going to happen, and then come back after it's happened and see how you feel. And you will notice that you are wrong more often than you are right.
Yeah.
But we love our own stories, and we love believing them as truth.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I find that these things resonate a lot with our audience. It resonates a lot with me. It just, if anybody is on the fence to do something, it's usually about that inner dialogue. They're on your list for a certain reason. They're on, like for us, they want those free stock photos. And a lot of times the free stock photos is helping them get along a little bit, it's helping them show up on Instagram and Pinterest. But if they really want to grow, they know they need to invest in something, but something keeps holding them back. And it's not me. I'm not holding them back, right? It's definitely something internal, and it's that inner dialogue. And being an entrepreneur or starting a new business is a vulnerable place to be. And so we speak to that and try to help our audience really feel that they're the decision makers, and that they can be empowered to make a decision and then shift and pivot and, feel confident that they're figuring this out. But all in alongside them, we're going to be there.
I love
providing them with stuff that makes their lives easy. I mean, the stock photos and the trainings, I mean, we added Instagram captions too. So every time we deliver stock photos, we're delivering captions that people can use to customize, and they're strategic. So there's goals that go along with these Instagram captions. Like if your goal is to get people to click on your link, I've got captions that you can customize that gets people to do that. So the resources we're providing are like supposed to help you feel a little like the weight's been lifted, and that you're free to now make other decisions and think about other things.
I love that. Like you're not traveling alone. One thing the reason why I started this podcast was because I think being an entrepreneur, while like the best thing I could ever do, and I do work with David, my husband, it's lonely. Like, I don't know if you have kids, but like, I always think it's super weird, when you're talking to the moms and you go, what do you do? And you're trying to explain what you do and they don't really get it. And it's kind of, it can be very isolating. And because we love our own stories, and typically, by the way, we're not telling ourselves happy stories because we want to protect ourselves. So we tell ourselves bad stories and we believe them. And so I thought when I started the podcast, if I could just be like a little friend in somebody's ear, helping them, giving them ideas. That was my goal. And in a weird way also to then make me less lonely, because I now have this community of other women predominantly who understand, who get the struggle, and who understand that we can be our own worst enemies, but we can also really help raise each other up. And that there is, because it's the internet, it's kind of the Wild West, you can build anything. Like there are tools, like my assistant lives in Portugal, and we Skype and we talk, and literally she's one of my best friends, and yet she's halfway around the world. But it's only because of technology today that you can do stuff like that. So it's like the possibilities are endless. And I think you're right, which is some of the things that we hold ourselves back in ways that can really limit us, and that if we can find friends like you who will help push us, it's amazing what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I love the community of entrepreneurs, and I definitely resonate with the things that you're saying.
So what is, if you could go back now to you when you started, which was now how many years ago?
4 years at this point.
And you and you could tell her one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think it would be that just to keep that mistakes and failures are good things, and that through each little setback, there is a lesson that's going to be learned, and to keep going, and to not hold back from asking for the sale. I think a lot of my first year, I thought that selling, promoting, or offering things was gross, and it didn't align with who I was. I was very stuck up in my head that stock photos should be free. They just should be free. But I quickly, well, I wouldn't say quickly, I should have learned a lot faster that I had a lot to offer. And so I think I would have, if I could go back, I would tell myself to own what you're doing, trust that what you're offering is of great value, and to not be afraid to ask for the sale.
Wow, that's very powerful. Again, I think that we all get that, especially as women, because we're helpers, and that's kind of it's part of who we are. I think it's genetically who we are. It's also society, trains us to be givers and helpers. And I think that the best, somebody said this to me, and I thought it was really helpful, is to reframe it as we are helpers, and by offering our product, we are helping, and that we are then creating a living for ourselves so that we can help even more. And just saying, that somehow it should be free, what we're doing, when all of a sudden I was, for myself, able to reframe it as, oh, if I make more money, I can help even more. I can come up with more products and more things to sell and make other people's lives better. then
Absolutely.
the bigger I can be, the better, because I can touch more people.
Right.
And if I
Yep.
can lighten somebody else's load, like what else do I want to do in life but
Right.
to help and help somebody else on their journey.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so again, it's like a mindset shift, and it's a powerful one. There was one interview, I remember this, of a woman who was saying that like she makes 7 figures and she's really successful, and she said the more money and she gives a bunch to charity. She works in like, I don't know, Haiti or someplace like that, but she was like, I can do more. Like, this is all good. And I remember listening going, wow. And that she so owned it. I was so impressed how she owned that and
Yeah.
wasn't at all embarrassed or felt somehow she shouldn't share this, but like she's kicking ass, and she's able to then share the wealth.
Right. Absolutely. I have to say that this past year for me has been that specific mindset shift. I wasn't afraid to make money at that point. This 2019, January 2019, I was like doing really well, making money, but I thought that I had to do it all myself. And the mindset shift that I went through recently was that by bringing on more team members, I can grow the business beyond any of my current dreams. And I still, had a lot of fear about investing and trusting other people in the creative process, because I thought that I had to own every bit of my photos, every bit of the creativity. And the truth of the matter is you can empower other people to be just as creative as you. And if you can learn how to do it, other people can learn as well. And the only way to grow at scale is by not doing it yourself. And by not doing it myself, I'm also surrounded by a team, and also am able to impact and help so many more people. So it becomes less about the revenue and more just about just doing what we're doing at scale, because I can't do it by myself. I have these grand visions, but
Right.
I never at the beginning never really envisioned it beyond just me and my bubble, and now
Absolutely. And I
it's
think too, when you bring on people to work with, it again, they're not you. So they're not
right.
going to do it exactly like you. And so that can be frustrating, but they also bring new ideas to the table, and they
Yep.
see things from a different perspective. And so, yes, will there be moments where you're frustrated and go, oh, wait, I would never, what? How would they think that that's the right way to do it? But to also step back and go, well, maybe their way is better. Maybe it's just different and feels uncomfortable because it's not the way I do it. But also, like, what other ideas do they have that I would never have thought of?
Right. Yep. It's very powerful. The more you trust in the process of growing a team, I've only seen growth from it, in all areas, not just revenue, just personal. Because at the end of the day, what do I want to be doing on a day-to-day basis? Do I want to be constantly hustling and doing everything myself, or do I want to be surrounded by a team that's supporting the vision, and then I can actually take a break, like
Absolutely. And one thing that I was just reading this, which is when people have to go to office jobs, you don't get to pick who you work with. And that can be a real place of discomfort and unhappiness. And the cool thing about what we do is A, we get to choose the people we work with. And
Right.
B, if it doesn't, if something's not working, we can make changes and adjust. But that there's so much more control. And it's not like I'm here in Austin. It's not like, Austin's a really big city, but I don't just have to work with people in Austin. Like, I can work with people from all over the world. And so my pool of people is so large that, like, I always think that I just want to work with people that I really like, that empower me, and that hopefully that the relationships are really positive and help grow my well-being. And that, to me, when I had that realization, I thought, oh my God, how cool is that? That I get to, you don't get to pick your family. And they say you get to pick your friends, but you also, when you are an entrepreneur, you get to pick the people you work with.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, it is. It's definitely a blessing and something that I don't take for granted. So there's so many good things to growing a team and being able to pick out your own. Yeah.
Well, Kayla, this has been so terrific. How can people reach out to you, learn more about what you do, what you sell, ask questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely visit ivorymix.com. And the best place to have a conversation with me, to pick my brain or to learn more about what's going on currently, is on our Instagram at _ivorymix.
Wonderful. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
I hope you guys liked that episode. I loved how Kayla was so willing to be honest and share. And my big takeaway is how she just listened to what her audience was looking for and figured out ways to serve them. And even when things weren't working, she pivoted and didn't give up and just kept chipping away and ultimately found success. So think about that in your own business. Also, I wanted to share that for Latorre, we now have we've rolled out snowflakes for your pop-up, especially for winter. So please, if you have not tried Latorre, head to Latorre.com, sign up for your account. You get your first 30 days free. Install it on your blog to help grow your social media followers on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and YouTube and your email list. We're coming out with some really awesome features soon too, which I'm excited to announce. But please go try it out. Tell me what you think and turn on snowflakes. So just so you know, the place to turn on snowflakes is, or sparkles, when you are configuring each pop-up, there's a little toggle switch and it'll say either turn on sparkles or turn on snowflakes, but it just gives your pop-up that little extra something so that people notice it and people click on it and people follow you. Okay, if you have any questions about it or about anything, please reach out to me. Go join my Facebook group because I'd love to welcome you personally. And I will be here again next week.